Two iconic hotels, one video. Let's get to it. Starting off with the Fairmont Empress, which admittedly is absolutely beautiful on the outside and, dare I say, even more magical at nighttime. This hotel is one of the best, if not the absolute best located hotel in the city of Victoria. As I'm going to be zooming around here, you'll see that right now, to the distance, those big buildings are like museums and theaters. That is the Parliament with a little green roof. At nighttime, it looks like the most perfect gingerbread house with icing, the icing being like all the lights they put on it. That is the ocean up front, including some yachts and mega yachts in the background. And to the right now, we are coming up on the old downtown, like the shopping, safe, nice downtown of Victoria. Could not be better located. Could not be. Walking inside the lobby now, this is the Christmas tree, and it's a really big one. And they have here one of my absolute, admittedly, again, favorite chandeliers of all time. There's a lot of times when I'll go to different hotels around the world and I'll always think back to this one. So to me, it is a bit of an iconic lobby. What you don't see though, as you look at this video, you don't see the fact that visiting this hotel for like the third or fourth time in a year, nobody cared. Nobody remembered me. Nobody treats you any sort of way. The customer service is not really there. Visiting on Christmas, you can imagine, I waited in line that day to check in close to an hour to check in. Okay. So the customer service, not the best, especially at holiday times of year, which, in some ways is understandable because they're especially busy. In other ways, it's especially sad because the guest has all the more heightened expectations owing to the holidays. Now, walking through the corridors here of your hallway to get to your bedroom, you'll notice the tone. It's like a classic bait and switch, right? Downtown is charming. It's warm colors. You go upstairs and it feels like they did a trick on you. Now it feels like I'm stuck in a rat cage going to my little cell with, to shack up with my cube of cheese for the night. It's completely no character, no soul, gray, mega hallways, all these other people around you. Bedrooms, these were the best shots I could take because unfortunately the kids got to messing around the room before I did this one time. The bathroom, you can see there's nothing impressive here. There's no wow. Room service, okay, admittedly, I'm a sucker for the smoked salmon bagel at the Fairmonts, but again, you don't see that I had to wait an hour and a half for that food order, whereas in other hotels I would have waited 20 minutes. The pool and the sauna, great, yes. So here you're going to see some amenity spaces in general, but again, what you don't see, so to take this footage is intentional of me. So I'm either going really early morning or really late in the evening to increase my chances of there being less people around. And that's reflected in the photos you see. But what you don't see is the feeling that one has walking through these spaces where, again, the customer service level is such that you're ignored, or if you ask a question and you take the initiative to reach out yourself to meet a need that you have in that moment, it's going to be an hour and a half at minimum. I mean, there's been times when I've gone to the Fairmont during really busy seasons where it takes time just to get a hold of somebody to then start the clock of taking time to get that service delivered or met. So customer service definitely lacking. But again, when you're talking about something like the holiday season, Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate, it's really abrasive. It's really jarring to have that lack of customer service, bordering on kind of like being ill-treated as a customer at the quote-unquote happiest, most joyful, most warm time of the year. Switching gears, the Grand Pacific Hotel. Now, I think a big difference in the vibes of the hotels, size-wise, they both probably have hundreds of rooms, and I think they both, sadly enough, maybe owing to some of the observations I've made, other people felt the same. They've both dropped actually from 5-star to 4-star, I believe. And I'll put a comment here to fact check that. But I think a big observation atmosphere wise is that the Fairmont is perhaps more new money, like people trying to hashtag on Instagram that they were at the Fairmont, and the Grand Pacific is more old money. And what's funny about that, and these are common spaces, way less common spaces at the Grand Pacific, way less. But again, usually reflected in the price as well, and in the true old money, vibes. These people have seen hotel lobbies before. They don't need to pay that upgrade at the Grand Pacific. The hallways going up to our room here, I have such a distinct throwback to this color in hallways when a friend of mine at Wellesley in undergrad made us visit her great aunt at the retirement home. And you'll see throughout the room as I show you, and I honestly hid some of the features, because I didn't want to look at it and just be reminded of those coming days for myself, although we're lucky if we do get there and they are being old age. But, there are geriatric supportive devices throughout the room. Like there are tools to help you get out of the bath. There's tools to help you put your shoes on. There's this little bench that, when you come in, to rest and catch your breath. So speaking again, to close the loop on the old money comment, it is, I feel, geared toward old, period, in a way. Now, this is the room. You'll notice, so both the Fairmont and the Grand Pacific, you'll notice they have clearly been renovated. You saw the pictures of the Fairmont room. You see here, like this desk and this laptop chair. And I mean, the wireless lamp that charges your phone wirelessly. Clearly, those are upgrades compared to the salmon great aunt wallpaper outside. But what's weird is the way this room has been upgraded. And to be honest, despite it being odd and what I'm about to say, I actually did prefer this room to the Fairmont, just on account of mental health. This room is so much more airy. Both rooms are upgraded, by the way. This one obviously having been upgraded to being right in front of the ocean. But I did prefer this more room overall, so I'll start with that. But this room had a really bizarre mix of old and new. What do I mean? Okay, so you saw that the desk, the working station, for example, and that's the Fairmont right there. So these two sister hotels, or frenemies, whatever you want to call them, stare at each other all day. Look at the bed skirt on that bed. Look how brown and dirty and filthy it looks. And then look at the headboard. The headboard and the lamps are clearly new. So is the art in the room. Why did we keep the bed skirt? Who saved money on that and thought it was worth it? It's not something that gets lost among all the other new things. It's something that brings all the other new things down. So that's what I mean. And there's this nasty chair in this room that I'm about to show you, not the new work chair. I think it's coming up in a few seconds in the video. But, so the art new, the lamps new, clearly. The, again, working station is new. The TV station was not new. A chair I'm about to show you in a second. This chair. Why is this chair in a room? In the same room that has a high-tech wirelessly charging phone lamp situation. Why is this fluid stained chair and dead skin back of the knee rubbed off on the fabric chair, clearly 1 to 2 decades old looking? I don't know how old it actually is. Why is it there among all the other new things? Clearly, you don't get that much dead skin buildup on a chair overnight. So it's not the case that it was just unlucky somebody was really dirty in the room on the first night. That's an old chair compared to everything else. Again, the view here, gorgeous. The balcony, a little controversial in and of itself, if I might say. I didn't know that there's a little gap that you can see. And yes, I know sometimes the viewers, and I love you all, sometimes they're like, it's common sense. There's a little gap in when you first come out of the hotel room that you can see the people next to you on the other balcony. I didn't know that. So I went out one morning not wearing the most. And after a few minutes of standing outside, all giddy on my balcony, taking my selfies, this old man next to me introduced himself, and I ran back inside. Okay, I zoomed in on that little station with the towels. Okay, so the towels, the toiletries, okay. And then they're on a cheap piece of plastic. Inside of here, a nice hair dryer in a cheap piece of plastic, okay? Just put the hair dryer on the marble countertop. That's some of the, geriatric supports I mentioned, which if you're into that, then this is definitely the place for you compared to the Fairmont. But the cheapness, right? Like I mentioned, in the bedroom, it was the mix of renovated and old. In the bathroom, it's the mix of like cheap and weird. Like, why? Just put the hair dryer, roll it up on the counter. At least I know quality hair dryer, quality counter. Don't introduce the cheap points because they distract. Food here, I have to say, superior to the Fairmont. More focused on quality of produce, I felt. Quality of product, I should say, as well. Superior to the Fairmont. Now, a little bit of a pickle situation in terms of, so I mentioned some of the common areas of the Fairmont. The Grand Pacific has far less, but they still do have, the basics of a luxury establishment, being like pool, hot tub, gym, all that. And I do believe they might have a spa as well, although I didn't have a chance to try it. But so Victoria Athletic Club, there you go. Let's talk about it. The gym situation, the amenities, the health amenities in the building are actually associated with a privately owned health club, which you just saw the name of. That actually caused some friction, and we had an incident ourselves at the pool because the individuals going there from the health club side, they're going there to better their health. They're going there, like when we went to the pool, there were people lapping it, setting their stopwatch as they started the laps. But then on our end, we go there as a family. I'm just there to blow bubbles and circle around. I'm not Michael Phelpsing it at the pool on my vacation, or ever, mind you. What's the friction it's going to cause? Okay, these people lapping it, there's frustration when a child throws a ball that happens to go in their lap. These people lapping it, want their quiet and peace, their quiet, and so on and so forth. Like, there are so many conflicts that there's no way the Grand Pacific wouldn't have been able to anticipate that are caused when you're putting a leisure family situation and the competitive athletic side of things. And, the pickle is that both sides have paid for the experience, right? So the woman that nagged at us for reasons I won't go into, to be fair to her, she's paid for her ability to experience, her laps after work. And on my side, well, I've extremely paid to be able to have this luxury vacation and fly thousands of kilometers just to be at this location. So that friction was institution-based, and I feel something that could have been easily avoided. I know Victoria downtown is like an older city. I don't know how feasible it is for the Grand Pacific to build its own pool. But again, conflict that was unnecessary, avoidable, and foreseeable. Okay? So now let's talk about it. The big question is, would I go back to any of these establishments? And the short answer is, or the little answer, I should say, to the big question, is that there really isn't much choice. And if you're watching this video and you're on the creative side, maybe it's an opportunity for you to start some sort of hosting situation in Victoria. After the first time, you try these establishments, I've seen so much in my life on the poor side and the wealthy side, but I've seen so much, I've experienced so much that, within a few seconds, I can tell how the experience is going to be, just by talking to customer service on the phone before I go to the hotel. I don't need to have experienced the Fairmont 4 times to be able to have the feelings I have about it now. But at the same time, so it's like, why do you go back? Well, where else am I going to go? Google hotels in Victoria. Google 5-star hotels in Victoria. Let me know how many you find. I think at the time that this video was filmed, and some of this content is like a year or two old because it takes me time with all the places we go to put the videos together. I think at the time there was like one other 5-star option. It was something I'd never heard of. I didn't feel comfortable going with that bet based on the fact that I'd never heard of it. And I think maybe it wasn't suitable for family needs. There was something specific about why I couldn't do that. So what other choice do I have? It's a matter of staying here because I feel I have to when I'm in town. And to be fair, at this point, it's not even that we stay in Victoria all the time necessarily. Sometimes we go to the island just to zip up to other places, including Tofino, which we love. So I'll leave this video there. You're free to make your own, observations. As always, my highest aim, other than to put out inspirational content on this channel, is to put out authentic content so that nobody goes somewhere and says, Pam, you misled me. I worked hard for this money and I spent it on something I would not have spent it on had you put together an honest video. Well, this was my honest video. Thank you for watching. Give us a thumbs up for more authentic, valuable content. And of course, more luxury content coming for you next week. We post every week on this channel. Thank you for watching.